Try to know the one.
Yes, I'm telling you, my goodness, I think I'm live now.
Okay,
I
now
think
you're
I'm.
live. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, welcome to my page. I did not know I wasn't live. So if you're just, this is our first ever live on this page, the Nigerian Bell Cancer Society. The Nigerian Bell Cancer Society is a movement set to redefine music and musicianship in Nigeria. And for our first ever, let me do this, take this one. For our first ever live, I'm inviting none other but Olamide Timothy, a bass player and Nigerian. I like Nigerian so that other country will claim you. A Nigerian bass player based in the United States. He's very talented. He plays both the classical and bass. My emphasis on the classical, so that a lot of electric bass players do not think, oh,
Mhm,
I need to jam. Because
mhm.
trust me, for you to be able to jam, you should be grounded. So, a little introduction for those of you that have not read his biography. Olamide Timothy studied at Muson. He studied the double bass and he also plays the electric bass. He was among the first to part- participate. He was with the group, the Five Wise Men, and they are
Yeah.
the only set so far from Nigeria till date since 11 years ago to participate in the Ohio Spring Jazz Festival. Check that out.
Mm, mm, mm,
Till
mm.
date, no other Nigerian group has performed in that jazz festival outside
Mm,
of the country, and they did
right.
justice to it.
Mm, mm.
So, Olamide, kindly introduce yourself.
You said everything already. Anyway, so my name is Olamide Timothy, like Christy has said. That's my very good friend right there. It's good to see you, Christy. It's been a long time. It's been such a
It's
long time.
too long time, too
Right.
much long time.
Okay. We'll
See
catch up
you.
after the show. Let me talk to the audience first. So, my name is
Okay, yeah.
Olamide Timothy, and like she said, I studied Mosan and studied some other places too. I'm a musician, electric bass player, and upright bass player, and a singer too. Remember Mr. Woke used to make me sing, so I try to make it
Yes.
better afterwards. So
Yeah.
basically, that's what I do now, and I'm based here in the United States, still doing music, keeping my life together, staying out of trouble and out of coronavirus.
Ah, I like that. Staying out of trouble and out of coronavirus.
But, mhm.
Okay. Um, I would you say that being able to play the double bass
Mm.
helped you in your skills as an electric bass player?
Oh, definitely, yeah. So when I will start from when I actually started playing um bass. I started bass just like I mean just looking at people playing. I used to be a drummer. I used to play drums. So when I see bass
Yeah, I
player
remember.
playing, yeah, I would just watch them and I would just try to play some stuff along with them. So I started playing electric bass. So it wasn't like a formal training that I have. I didn't have like a formal training on the electric bass. And I was playing. I mean, it's one of the things in Nigeria. We've got good ears. We can actually follow through our ears and just follow the sound. So I could play to some level. So I was playing professionally. I was doing fine and all that. So when I heard about, I mean, I've gone to the Lagos State University. Then the music department was good. I mean, it was we didn't have. I was actually going there to do a kind of uh, like electric bass training, but then we didn't really have you know lecturers to instructors like that there. So it's still a journey I had to pull through myself. So when I heard about the Moson Center having the scholarship, the MTNF, is it MTN? Yeah, MTNF, right?
MTNF.
I'm correct.
Yes,
MTNF,
MTNF.
right?
Yes.
Yes. So I was like, well, I've been hearing about Moson forever. I've always wanted to be in Moson, like forever. Like, okay, I mean, I've been coming. I'll go to the rehearsal. I met some couple of people, and why I'm saying this story is just to know the transition, how it's how the upright bass influence eventually taught me how to play the electric bass well. So when I got into the Muson's school, I went with my electric bass, and I've been practicing. I mean, I said they said we had to practice. When I came to get the phone,
Yeah.
Mrs. Akpata said I had to practice. There was no double bass player there. The only person that was
Yes.
there, the only person that was actually there then was T Bass. I've not even heard about T Bass because
Base style.
yes, yeah, Tayo was
Yeah.
there, and I mean, and Tayo told me like, I mean, he had no teacher. He's only he's been taught by a cellist, and the cellist was really good. I was like, oh, well, I don't mind. I just want to get into this. I've been wanting to play upright bass all my life, and one thing I told myself is before, like, I'd rather die if I don't play this upright bass. So
Wow.
and yeah, that's just the thing. That's a statement to myself. That's a self statement. So Mr. Quetta said I have to practice some cello pieces. I just started reading music then. My music skill wasn't really good. Reading wasn't really good then because I had to practice cello pieces, and some of the cello pieces were written in some strange clefs I've never seen before. I was like, what? I only know treble and bass clef. So within a short period of time, I had to learn how to read the tenor clef and the alto clefs like that. So I had like 3 weeks before my audition. So I had to learn the pieces. So I came, she said, well, I have to play it on the electric bass. He has to see me on the electric bass playing it. So when I came into the audition with my electric bass, she
That's Mama
said,
Pata for you.
Mama Quetta, she said, okay, you're in. I was so scared. I was like, for cello or for double bass? She said, no, for double bass. You're gonna play double bass. I was like, whoa, okay. So eventually,
Oh my
yeah,
God.
this journey started, and I was lucky to have
Or on issues
uh, Miss Karen
immediate you
Parkinson.
can.
Then she's in the United States. I mean, she was she was the instructor. Then she said, Karen, she
Karen,
said,
yeah.
don't worry about it. We're gonna take what is here, and this is where I'm going to. We're gonna take what is here to what is to here. We're gonna take what is
Yeah, I remember. I
right.
remember that.
So
Yeah.
what is here? We're gonna take it here. And I was like, well, and I can tell you from the very first class that I had, I just knew this is the instrument. After a couple of weeks, when I went back to my electric bass, it felt like I was playing a toy. It felt so
Wow.
much easier. It felt so much easier. I had more flexibility on the electric bass, all because the couple of weeks I had playing this upright bass, I have been able to build some kind of dexterity. I've never moved this way. And there's a way this muscle work in such a way that if you can move it more like this, there's a tendency you can move it faster this way. And you can
Hmm.
have more rigidity on your
I hope
finger.
he's listening.
So I mean
There is
I
a
was
basis
so
with us on the screen.
oh okay. Oh, yeah, 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 I
I
saw
hope
that. Hello.
I hope he's listening. I muted his mic for now.
Oh,
I
okay.
muted his mic for now so that
Okay.
yeah.
So I mean, and that was it. It was just a major transition that actually happened. That it gave me a better tone on the electric bass, a better sense of direction. I actually kind of relearned the electric bass after the upright bass.
Okay, I've been learning because
Yeah.
every time I to be to be very good in your instruments, you have to always relearn every day and go back to the basics.
Right. Right.
Okay, okay. Let
Absolutely.
me unmute this bass now because bass can speak bass.
Oh.
Dele, I think I've unmuted you. Welcome on board, Dele. Dele, a very good bassist as well. And
Hello.
Dele, I've unmuted. Can speak. We hear.
Yeah,
Hi.
yeah. Can you hear me? Good evening,
Yes.
bro.
Yes.
I didn't
Good
hear you.
evening.
Nice to meet you again.
Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you.
I
What's
read so
going
much
on, man?
about you.
Ah,
I'm cool, bro.
good,
Sorry, I came
good,
in
good,
late.
good.
I went for
No,
studio recording.
that's all right. That's cool. Absolutely
Dele, did
cool.
you hear what about how playing the upright impacted on ability on the electric bass?
Yeah, I heard it. I heard when he said some people thought what he's playing is a toy or something. So I heard everything
Okay.
he said.
So before we go on, if we go on questions to as a you can ask now before we go on.
Okay. So I want to
Mm.
ask, what's the um, difference between a double bass and the electric bass? So is it what approach do you have on the double bass, and what's the difference between both of them in terms of playing, in terms of fingering? And I think I've played like a double bass before, but I've not really played like, but just like I just touched it and see how it is. So I want to know what's the feel like.
Okay. So, number one thing I would like you to know is the electric bass and the acoustic bass. The only thing that is common to both of them is that they are bass. They are both basses, but they are two different instruments. I can tell you right now. If anybody tells you like they are the same, maybe in terms of tuning, because they are both bass instruments, like they are both bass, but the difference is, I mean, it's much. The advantage, the difference is that when you learn one, you can easily interpret into the other one easily in terms of um, theory. Let me just say in terms of theory, basically theory. But when it comes to technique is different. It's basically different because I mean the fingering you use in playing electric bass is not the same you will play with the upright bass. The position, I mean, and the upright bass is like two octaves lower in terms of sound when you're playing in the first position. You see, and when you're
Okay.
playing the first position on electric bass, you're like an octave up on the upright bass. Now that is one.
Okay.
The second one is the fingering. Like I mean, if you're playing a major scale on electric bass, let me, for instance, now you will start
Yeah.
like depending on the position you want to play, you will start from the middle finger and play your one, your two with the pinky, your three with one, your four with two, your five with pinky, your six with one, your seven with the ring finger, and your octave with your pinky again. On the upright bass, it's totally different because the spaces are much bigger. They are much wide. I mean, they are much wider in terms of how you place your finger. That's why the first technique you want to learn if you're playing electric bass and you want to play upright bass is the spacing. It's the spacing. And I can't do this on the electric. This should be too wide for my four frets. This is what I do for my four frets. But for my upright, the moment you shift like this, something mentally just tells me this is the position now. You see. So the technique is basically different, but they are both bass instruments. The technique is definitely different, and that's your left hand now, and your right hand. If I'm playing, like I gotta play depending on how many fingers you use. Sometimes I use two fingers, I use three fingers. So if I play electric bass, let's say I'm playing electric bass. I mean, most you only have to play with your fingers or the pick, depending on the style you're playing. So if I'm playing electric, I'll play like this, my pizzicato like this. If I come to the upright bass, I want to play pizzicato. I can play like this. The sound will be
Okay.
different. You will still play. You will still get the sound, but you won't get a rich sound just because you want to
Okay.
apply the electric bass technique on the upright bass technique. And this is how you see the difference now. I got to play like this with the side of my finger on the upright to like I'm pulling the string now for my pizzicato on my upright bass. But my electric bass, I got to play like this for a richer tone. I can't do this also on my electric bass. You see the difference now.
Yeah.
So, but
Yeah.
they are both bass, but the technique is kind of always different. But they always enhance one another. That's what I can tell you.
Okay.
Hmm.
Wow. Thank you so much.
Yeah. How long have you been playing bass?
Over 10 years.
That's amazing. That's amazing. That's amazing. I mean, it's a good thing if you pick up the upright bass. I can tell you right now. If you pick up the
Yeah,
upright,
Christine has been telling me that for some years now. That I should go. I should go for. I should go to Muzon. I should play upright bass and all that. So,
it's a good thing. Don't
so
be scared to.
maybe that's what I'm. Maybe that's what I'm gonna do
You'll be glad you
because.
do.
Okay.
The thing about it in Nigeria is that we don't really have so much upright bass player. It's growing now. I mean, when I started playing bass in Nigeria, it was just me. It was actually just two of us that I know all over Nigeria,
Wow.
or just two, and that was just a really. I wasn't cool about that. I was just like, and when you travel abroad, there are more upright bass players, and I'm not saying that it's just what everybody has to learn. It's just that as a bass player, if you learn the upright, there's an effect it has on your electric playing. It makes it so fluid. You have more richer tone because the electric bass requires more strength. You see
Hmm.
what I'm saying? On your fingers at the beginning. At the beginning. Later your finger gets used to it. But at the beginning it get more like it requires a lot of um, tension. Excuse me, on your fingers. And the moment you can grab that, it can easily come on your electric. You see what I'm saying? It can easily come on your electric. Anytime I want to play, like I have to play on electric, like I have like maybe a 3 4 day run gig. I try to play
Yeah.
my upright 2 days ahead of those. I'll be playing. I'll practice all my songs on the upright bass. All the songs. Depend if it's a
Okay.
whatever style I'm playing. I will play it on the upright, and by the time I'm playing on the electric bass, it just goes. It just goes so quick, and that's just the fluidity. I mean, it's. I know it's a kind of. It might be difficult in Nigeria to get one upright bass, but I'm sure if you can get to Muson, one of they give privileges to people who want to learn that. I know that one for sure. I remember the director told me that I should send people there that want to learn upright bass because they are trying to build that department. So it's a good thing if you
Okay.
consider it. It's a really good thing. Where's Christine?
Oh,
Sorry about that. Network
Okay.
what do you
issues.
say?
Okay. I
Sorry
can see
about
her
that.
now.
I
She
had the
she was gone.
network issues.
Okay,
Okay.
okay.
So Dele, was he able to answer your question to your satisfaction?
Yeah. 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 He did.
He did. Okay. Before another question comes on, let me ask this.
Mm,
As a musician in the diaspora,
mhm.
would you say being able to master your instruments has been profitable, has been, and what apart from playing in churches, because I know that you are among the first to play in the jazz festival. Do you still do jazz? Do you still get gigs?
I'm playing a gig tonight and tomorrow and Sunday. I play. Actually, my gig numbers actually reduced. COVID has reduced a lot of my dates. So, like your question, actually, a question. What I can say is, this is a very in this society right here. It's a very competitive society when it comes to music. There are gazillions of amazing players. Like there are gazillions of amazing players. They are extremely good.
Wow.
So one thing that actually will help you, or one thing that I know in this society also is when you can play to at a certain level, at a certain level, you will be sure you will get a gig. You will play everywhere. That one is you don't have to be extremely good, but you got to be at a certain level to play
What
to
what level? What level is that? That certain level.
right. So now they can I did a production before the lockdown a week. I got a notification of a musical a week before the musical. The bass player got sick and they contacted me to sit in for him because we used to teach in the same school. And he said, contact him, he will be able to sit in for me. And I got all the music. They've been practicing for 3 months for a whole month show. And they contacted me, they gave me the music a week. That's what I'm going to. Now,
Music scores 5 lines
this
and 4 spaces.
exactly. They give me the sheet music and this all the that is the language, yeah. That's what it. The only thing they just expected me to do is just come to the rehearsal and gel with the rest of the musicians. So that is the level I'm talking about. So
So the
that
level
level,
is being able to read music.
not being able to read music, being able to step in, or when the situation arises, whatever. It might not be reading music. I've had gigs whereby they don't even have sheet music, but they send you the music by ears. It's even very
Okay.
challenging. You got to sit. So if your proficiency is not enough to get that music in place, they won't call you next time. And for someone to recommend you, they know you'll be able to do the job and you get many other jobs after that. And that is the level I'm talking about. So one
Okay.
thing is to be able to read music because that's most people. It's not everybody here that can read. That's not what I'm saying. Not everybody can read, but that level of musicianship that they know that they can call you for anything is going to play. Just call me. I'm not the best musician around here, and like I said, there are gazillions of musicians. But people want to deal with if they can call you and you're right there on time. You get there, you play the music. That's it,
I
and
like that.
that takes a lot of discipline in terms of how you take your instrument, the time you spend. The amount of time you spend with your instrument, like Christy was saying before we got online. Those years I used to practice a long, like I don't practice like that no more. No, I can't. I can't practice 6 a.m. in the morning till
That's
11 p.m.
crazy.
No, I don't do that no more. But one thing I can tell you is the discipline is there. I know if I have to get a work done, I gotta get it work done. That is the discipline I'm trying to say, and that is the level of musicianship that is expected here for you to call yourself a professional musician, working musician. Because I can tell you right now, I've seen musicians coming from Nigeria or from Africa, they can cope here, and they were like, they are amazing musicians in Nigeria, and that is not to say that they are not good musicians, but society differentiates us. The society here requires you. You can walk into a jam session now. When I first moved here, I got. When I first met, I know some couple of musicians that I've been working with when every time I come here and then. But when I moved here, finally, the musician, how I got gigs to know other musicians is walking into a jam session. And in a jam session, you see some crazy cats. You see 20-year-olds, 22-year-olds. They are killer musicians. They are killer musicians. When I say killer musicians, they are killer musicians. And in jam session, nobody's talking. They just call you. You get there with their instrument. They call you. You want to play? Come. And they just call the number and they start playing. So right there, that's your audition right there.
Wow,
It is
wow.
it is how you play. You see what I'm saying? It is how you play right there that the other musician will see you. They'll be like, "Oh, that's a bad cat," and they'll be like, "Whoa!" And when the moment you might not. In fact, you don't even have to play so much song. It might just be two songs. It might even be one song. But the way you play that one song, they know what you've got. You know what I'm saying? And
mm,
that is the
Yeah.
level, and that is how they call you. Like, hey, they don't need any other thing. Once because they just saw you play it already, and that is it.
Wow, wow.
You see that
They
is the same
call
feeling.
the
Yeah.
number
So that's the level.
for you to play, or you bring your own choice, or how is it?
No, sometimes there are some. They just in a jam session, like they just be like there are some common standards they expect you to know. Like if it's a jazz standard, like that's why I say like it's a common jazz standard. They just be like, okay, can we play April in Paris in a sentimental mood? And because it's like I'm trying to see, it's like saying you're in Nigeria, we're in Nigeria now, and we just get into everybody just plays. Be like, do you know Taxi Driver? Let's play Taxi Driver. Do you know? You know what I'm saying? Do you
Yeah,
know
yeah.
any common Nigerian song? You know what I'm saying? So they just and it is the way you interpret it. Some, even if you don't know it, if you have the fake book, because I mean, yeah, there's a fake book. There's we got a
And the real
software
book of yeah,
and the real
yeah,
book of jazz and all
jazz
that,
and jazz. Yeah.
and you have the software in your phone. The moment they see you don't know the song, but right on the spot, you have there are millions of there are so much song I played like that. I don't know the song, and I'll be like, okay, just give me the music because I will read the chat right on the spot, and that tells them that you can step up or you can step in the game anytime they give you a call. That's what I'm trying to say. That's what I'm saying. Their confidence that you're not going to be struggling when the decision arrives. You get what I'm saying?
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
basically.
I remember being in it's off Falun, it's on Falun or one music club like that with some years ago, and ship music in his and he was able to jump. That was like a live audition, right? But it's owned by some Lebanese in Nigeria, and I was like, wow.
Right?
So yeah, there's something to say here to Mr. Ayoban College this. Most people that can read music often play the importance of musician ears.
Mm.
He's always saying that is another valuable skill of a musician, because what's the use of being able to music and your station is whacked, and reading by ears too, like Evan is always saying, is a valuable skill. Music.
You know, one thing I can say is your number one tools, your number one tool you will ever have as a musician is your ears. That's the whole essence of music.
mm,
That's the whole essence of music is your ears. Because let me give you an instance. If you can talk, if I can tell you this is what I want, wouldn't you prefer it than me saying writing it down? I'm just writing it down for you. This is what I want food. You wouldn't know the what do you call, even if you have the, I mean, in English they have all these what do you call them, exclamation marks and what do you call those things,
Yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah.
Yeah, but
Punctuation marks
you will
and
not
all that.
really understand. I want food, like I said, I want food, give me food. You know what I'm saying? And it is the expression, it is the way you say it. and that has to do with your ears, then I can really understand that this person wants food. So if you're talking about, I can read music, and I mean, I can tell you, I've played with some whack musicians who here. Like I'll be like, and they can read. They can really read. Give them the music, they read like crazy. But they are just no musical. They are not just musical, and that's what I was saying. That the thing about one advantage we have as Africans, as Nigerians, is it's an advantage that we didn't really we were not like you got to, before you can play music you have to be able to read it. No, we learned music as a way of life, and we can join in music. We can hear. I'm sure, I don't know how you started playing bass, but I started playing bass just by looking at people, bass players, and I'll pick up the bass. I used to be a drummer, and I'll pick up the bass and I'll figure something out because my ears would tell me, my ears would actually remind me what I heard. How crazy is that? So yeah,
It's
that is a
crazy.
special gift. Yeah, it's a special gift. They look at you like, dude, you crazy, man. Because I will just tell you right away, like, this is the sound, and they'll be like, oh, how did you hear that? Because it becomes a language to me. It's just a language. Yeah.
Dele, how did you start playing the bass? I'm curious. I'm curious. Olamide is intriguing. Just watches, then he just picks it up. Dele, how did you start playing the bass?
I started playing bass by hearing as well. So I just noticed that there's this something my ears is always tuned to in any song, so which is the bass. So
Mm.
before I even picked it up, I'm like, wow, I really like the way this thing sound. So that was what got me interested in bass because my ears are just tuned to it, and I'm just like, wow, what's this? What's this? So, it's just really, really interesting to me. So no, I learned through hearing and all that. So I didn't even know what they call scoring then. So, but what I just know is I just hear a lot of song, and my ears are just attuned to it, and I started humming and all that. Oh wow, wow. Even before I got my bass guitar, for all that. So it's just crazy.
Yeah.
Okay. For me, I don't bass, but like I said, years ago when I first knew Olamide Timothy me to fall in love with it because he was like a madman. When I get to music on the practice late in the night. I was not a
Yeah.
bass player, but him, I knew a lot of bass parts. And when I listen to like Dele to contest, too fast. The
Mm.
piano is going on, but I can only hear the bass, and I'm always excited. Ah! When I go to church and I hear good bass player, is I hear, but that does not make me a bass player. Yeah. The thing is, I like falling in love with Then Dele too is another this young man, very promising. So would you take us back to your experience in the Ohio jazz as at then your music level was not now. How did that make you feel? What did the experience on you, and how were you guys able to deliver despite that till now your skills of musicianship is like in case they let you know, these men consist of Michael, music director then in church. Michael was our music director, fantastic one, and the best I've ever had till date. Then this here, so then sweatwear, that's Imole,
Well,
Wahala. G. I
Larry,
miss him. I don't know. I miss him. A very good
Jimmy G.
trumpet player.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So take us
we
back
talk.
time.
Okay, so in 2009, we were in Musan then, and we have Karen.
Karen
We,
Peterson.
when we got to Muson, so five of us, me, Michael, Toby, Larry, Mole, we were coming from a different background. Like we were coming from, when I say different background in terms of, we are not used to classical music, kind of. We are not used to classical music. So we
All of
have,
you.
yeah, Larry was a little bit used to, because Larry, but most of us, we used to play, I mean, we just play gospel, we play some gospel, we play some, I mean, R&B, some pop music, basically. Also in Mole too, because then we've been doing some theory. Basically, but we've not been playing because, I mean, basically the only place we play classical music in Nigeria there was Musan.
Yeah.
That's the only
Till
place.
date anyway.
Okay, okay. So then, so we don't, there's no venues to play. So basically, when we got to Musan, we were like, okay, everything is just classical. Let's put some spice in here, man. Let's just add some
Yeah.
spice. Let's bring. So we decided like we're gonna start playing some little jazz tunes, and we're gonna be together. Then we went to the music director. No, yeah, we went to the music director. We said, okay, we want to form a group. It's going to be a jazz group. And she said, oh, really? Okay, that would be nice. We can have a spice music right there. I said, what's the name? I said, we said we don't have a name yet. So, okay, don't worry. Right there, she said, how many of you? Five. Okay, you're gonna be five wise men. I was like, whoa, okay, that sounds good. So that's how the five wise men came. Then Karen the cello teacher then, and she was teaching the cello. She was teaching the bass too, and she was coming from here. She's an American. She said, well, I can take you guys. We can walk. I mean, she walked past one of our rehearsal room one day. We were like, no, she was like, you guys really sound good. And I remember we had a workshop one time. Some Navy people, I mean, some Navy, I mean, they were having a cruise, something like that. And they stopped in Nigeria. They came to Muson. They were giving a master class. So we had to play. So the group came together. Karen said, you guys, we're going to continue with this. And we were actually one of the reasons why they had to introduce jazz studies into Muslim curriculum, because they didn't have it. They didn't have jazz in the curriculum. So they had to introduce jazz in the curriculum so that people can start learning it. And that same year, we started getting some little gigs. Then all of a sudden, she said, you know what? We used to have this festival in Ohio every year. My mother is she's the host. I don't know if you guys would love to. And we're like, oh, definitely. Then we got it there. She got us all the invitation, everything. We came here at the festival. We were blown away because I mean we were like coming from Nigeria, and these musicians, they were sounding like they were falling from heaven. It's like what? So when we got on stage, we playing, and this is one thing I wanted to pay attention to. We were playing some jazz tunes that we were playing jazz, like we were playing jazz. So we just felt like, okay. So Karen just came on the side. She's like, um, play us some Nigerian music. Play us some Nigerian music. And that was a change for
Wow.
me. That yeah, that was a switch for me. That was when I knew that when people see you first, they want to hear the music of where you're coming from. And because it's the language, that's your language. They want to hear the music in your language. And one thing that has given me advantage inside of the world is that is one thing that changed everything for me. Because we were like, we're gonna play jazz too, and they were like, well, we understand you're not really playing this. Can you play something? The moment we started playing, I remember we play Taxi Driver, we play Water No Get Enemy. The moment we played those music, they went
Wow.
crazy. They went crazy, crazy. We were not super good, but the ovation we had, we made us feel we felt like superstars just playing the right thing. And that's what I meant, like playing that right
Mm.
thing at that right place. And they were like, wow. And after that, we got several invitations. Because the thing is, if we had been playing the same thing, like we want to play giant step and all that, they would just be like, well, my cleaner can do that too. I can, the cleaner or the farmer who's on the roadside can pick up the bass or the trumpet or saxophone and play it better than you are playing it. But that little thing they never heard before.
Mm.
The moment you started playing that thing, when we started playing that thing, they were like, wow. Because it's just, that is the joy of music, bringing different things into it. And by the time you want, the advantage again is by the time you want to add, you want to play their music also now, you can easily get into their music and play. That's it. That blows them away.
I love the part.
You lo-
Sorry, the network was crazy. Sorry,
It's okay.
the
It's
part
okay.
you said you played. They asked, they requested you to your own music.
Right.
Like Franklin said, he because Fela also studied music. Do them and they them. And if and but when Marine people came to Muse on there, you remember when they did
Right.
Sweet Mother,
Right. Right.
I was in tears
Right.
because they took our music and they're not us. Whereas we are actually busy pursuing them while we become them. Because it's just like Karen performs all this on the piece on the cello. It's second nature because she's American and
Yeah.
she's language efficiently.
Right.
You know, and I remember when the Marine you guys now said, okay, is there anybody here that wants to sing? We sing as in
I
they,
remember
they
that.
everyone was silent and I was crying because all the time we are usually busy becoming there and singing all these repertoires. It's not bad. We have here in Africa, we do not appreciate our own kind of music and music document our own
It's sad.
style of music. Music has been even way before in Nigeria history of music. Where is the ethnomusic in Nigeria
It
to
is
teach us
sad.
the history of, yeah, it is really sad.
I've always been like, why don't we have people coming to Nigeria at this stage to learn Afrobeat? I give a class on Afrobeat every week, 2 hour class on Afrobeat here
Wow.
every week. Why can't we Afrobeat that originated from Nigeria? Our universities are still busy with NL, with oh, it's not a bad thing. This is for me. I was like,
It's not a bad thing, yeah.
I tell people all the time, learn the classicals. Learn. They teach you the most. Our music won't teach you kind of techniques, except this is being discovered now. But the classical music, all the techniques I play on my upright bass on is. I can only play the upright bass well because I play classical music. That's for sure. That is definitely.
Mm-hmm.
But I won't stick to be a classical musician. I played three or actually four classical concerts here in the symphony, and they were like,
Oh,
the trumpet, yeah, the trumpet player was actually the one that invited me. He said, "Hola, come." Then I went to my bass, and I started with eight basses, like eight upright bass players. I was blown away.
wow.
And it was such a good thing to play classical music again. I felt so good. And the good thing is the techniques that I learned, they will forever, they don't leave you. That's the good thing about classical music. As long as you keep practicing, those techniques never go away. They will be there. Now, to our music, one thing that has separated me and some other good African musicians here is when we play our music and play their own music, it blows them away because they can't play our music.
Woo!
They
at all.
can really play.
But in all, so like, they remember the Marine when they played it was like I was
Right, right. So I mean, that is the thing. You don't. I mean, with our culture, I don't see why we don't have universities now teaching Afrobeats. Yeah, you don't have. You don't have to have a PhD. You don't have to have. You don't need to have all this. They can go to musicians that have been playing for years. They have the experience. They have the ears. They will teach them. I have. I mean, in Berkeley, in Harvard, they have professors who don't even have a university degree, but because of their years of experience playing that music,
for
you
real.
can't sub. I'm telling you, you cannot substitute that with what you're going to learn in classroom. Whatever you learn in classroom, if you can't put it on the field, it's a waste of time. It is a waste of time. If you can't put whatever is being taught, because it's a whole different thing. I've seen people who got out of Berkeley. I play with musicians who got out of Berkeley. They suck so bad because it's not enough to have the money to pay the school fees. It's about spending that kind of time in a practice room, and when you get on the field, you can play. They are two different things. So if you have Nigerian musicians that I mean, I tell musicians play all the classical, play all the jazz that you want. It's good, but get rooted. Do something with our root music. Do something with our root music. It's so important. That's what differentiates us outside.
And to that, why I will say why the whole world is seemingly amazed by Burna Boy. And I tell them you're amazed by Burna Boy because his sound is different. You need to hear other things that you get to hear. That is why I feel do our own beats in my little corner. Those good Nigerian musicians and good musicians to people. Because if five wise men or back then they will find away. No shades to him, but just has to be a lot of good musicians there. But because we do not do our own thing, what differentiates one of regular musicians is because to an extent here we can hear music some music is music. Unlike it's just like
Right.
beats, regular. I'm mine's the
It's the it's
regular
the it's
old
no, it's the
boring
media. You're right.
beats.
The media messed up everything in Nigeria. The media messed up everything because the promoters had to play. We used to have good music in Nigeria while growing up. That's for sure.
Yeah, we did.
The TV, the radio stations, it's about money now. Whoever gives them money, they play the music. And as human, what you hear all the time, what comes into your ears all the time, it gets into your brain. It affects you mentally. You get into that. So they've been able to transform Nigerians' mind or brain in terms of music, what to listen to, streams, what to listen to. But that same ears, when they hear good music, they know the difference.
Yeah. It's a shame that you need to really have to get your music to be aired. So crazy. It's been a practice over the years, but it's okay,
Absolutely.
Dele, if you have another question, well, Shegun, welcome on board. I see Shegun's face. Dele, if you have
Okay.
another question, please feel free to go on. We have about 10 more minutes to end. Dele, me. Yeah, if you have more questions to ask him now. Dele, me. Yeah, if you have
Okay, I just want to ask if um how did you get to being abroad? I mean, though I've been hearing about you that you went to abroad and all that. So what was it? How did you get there? Was it music that took you there, or was it the wise men, the five wise men that took you there? And do you feel like staying over there, kind of, or how? how is how will I put this question? How is Nigeria? What's the difference between Nigeria
Mm,
and abroad? The abroad.
okay. Abroad.
Mm.
Okay. First of all, I mean, with the five of us, man, we traveled. But after that, before I moved to the United States, I've only moved here like 4 years ago.
Eh,
I've been based there 4 years ago, but I've been living in South Africa for five or more than 5 years. And what took me to South Africa also, I mean, all my life has been music. That's it. Now, what took me to South
no,
Africa was music. I had to go and work with an orchestra in South Africa, and it's a youth orchestra that I was writing for, I was arranging, and I was conducting. That was early 2011. I was working with the orchestra for about 2011 to about 2013 and 14. Then I got after doing my diploma and licentiate, I got into the college. I was teaching in the college there. I was teaching in the college for a long time, and I was in a orchestra there. So after that, when I moved here, also it was music. My friend in Maryland said I had to come. Oh wait, it's gone. So I
No,
think maybe
sorry, I'm sorry, we have network issues.
the
I did
network
not know
issue.
I had your license, your it's ABRSM.
I did. I did in South Africa. Yeah, I
You're a
did.
professor, yes. Wow,
No,
that's
no, I
good.
didn't. I'm not. I couldn't do my fellow. I, I still couldn't do my fellow.
But
I wanted
essentially,
to.
that's a big deal. For ABRSM real
Well,
school. That's a big deal. Big deal. Double
well,
right.
it was hard. It was hard. I can
It is
tell you
hard.
it was.
Hard.
We were just two. I had to travel to Cape Town then to go and do it. It was two of us, and it was worth it. I still have my. I actually was looking at my computer with my program notes. When was that? About 2 days ago, 3 days ago. Yes, I was checking. I was like, wow, and that was in 2013 or 14. But I mean, it was good. It was really a very good experience for me. And then I started teaching there. I taught for like 3 4 years in the college before I moved there.
So the
There because
associate certificates enabled you to be able to teach in schools in the abroad, basically.
basically they also need you to have that. I mean, if you are actually going to teach, they want to see, especially if you are coming from Africa, they want to see that you've actually done some work in their culture. You see what I'm saying? That has to do with like you've actually spent time in their culture also, like doing your research. I mean, you can't do licentiate diploma without researching about classical composers. You see what I'm saying? So all those things they want to see also that you have, they can have a conversation with you about that. Basically.
Okay, the abroad and abroad. I'm sure he was.
Is that a network problem?
Yeah,
Niger.
yeah. But what it is. Okay. You also he questions about music that took you there. Then how is different from Nigeria in the abroad.
Mm, right. That one I can tell you the music that actually separates, or it's not. I won't say it's jazz. The classical music does make not even classical music. I mean, the classical music can get you scholarship. If you, I mean, some of the students in Muson, they can get you scholarships because what they want to see is the level of talent in you that they can brush up, that they can claim. They want to see that you have that thing that can be brushed and claimed properly. So once they see that, they give you scholarship. So, but that was the music that brought me here. I mean, I've done all my studies there. I did some studies here too with some classical bass players when I got here, and I mean, the good thing is here you will find an amazing classical bass players and very good jazz players at the same time.
Mm.
One person plays the classical
Wow.
so well and plays the jazz so well. That is one thing you will find there. I can tell you right now. So the thing that I can tell you, the music in Nigeria, the music that brought me here is not the music that is being played in the mainstream now in Nigeria. No,
Thank
it's
you.
the
Thank you. Don't be.
it's
Don't
the
be.
no, it's not that one. It's the music that is refined. It's a refined, I would say refined kind of highlife, refined traditional folk tunes,
Oh.
refined music that you can say this music is from Nigeria, this music is from Africa, because you know what? That is what they want to hear. When people, when you see an Indian man that says the musician, one thing I want to hear is, play me some Indian music, man. When I see a Nigerian, play me some Nigerian music. You know what I'm saying? And people want to associate your musicality with your culture. They want to merge it together. You have a common ground, but the spice you are bringing to the table is that difference. Is that difference? That's what you're contributing to it. It might it doesn't have to
I think
be
it goes
bad.
beyond. I think it even goes beyond music because after that we had another cello teacher teaching bass and the cello very fun. Oh, I don't did you meet Mr. Kanitz?
Oh, kind of,
Did you
yeah,
meet him?
definitely. I came, yeah. I was. We were doing Figaro. We were doing Magic Flute together too. We did Magic
Yeah,
Flute. We did other. We did this other. Which other? I think we did two. Yeah, we did two operas together. If I
one is
remember,
very good. Is very good. So beyond the first thing Mr. Kanitz wants to see, then he was I'm taking this that like, when people see you as an African, they want beyond okay, they want to see you play a thing. Mr. Kois was always complaining then that why are we not our own real hair? He was about that.
absolutely.
Then when we perform with Telta, she's I don't country she's from. She's an opera singer.
Mm,
She's French. No, I can't remember. She's always angry that why don't we wear our hair that our skin is they want to see you want to see African as their culture or show that they are because the beauty of the quality of what we stand instead of we losing identity and that is to that particular year where Americans physically white people playing our big song and becoming so I think that like when you say oh, want to see you play your thing so be able to
right.
appreciate you as an African totality of you as an African if correct me if I'm
You're wrong. When Miles Davis met Hugh Masekela, Hugh Masekela used to come to a festival right in the U.S. and it was I was watching this documentary and Hugh Masekela said, I mean, he's been coming to this festival. They invite me Hugh Masekela every year. And Miles to play too. And every time Hugh Masekela come, he will come with his South African thing. But he will play all the South African like everybody is happy. So there's this particular year he came. He said in that year he had scored everything Miles. He had played everything about Miles's solo. Then he got on stage. He started playing Miles phrases. It was good, but after the show, Miles called him. Miles said, "Hey, do you know why we call you to this festival every year?" And he was like, "No, I don't know." He said, "It's because of that shit you brought from Africa. That spice you bring from
whoa
Africa. That's why we call you every year. Don't try to play what we're playing because it's everywhere. We want that thing you bring in from Africa." That was what he told him. And he said after that, it never went back. It never, and that's what I was saying about the roots. Music is a language. The beauty of music is we speak in different language, still as one language. That is it. That is the colors. It brings the beauty out. If you are speaking the same language all the time, it's the same. But the moment you can understand another language, you can hear another language and understand that. Let me use the word understand in a context. It feels so good. I play with some couple of musicians that are not from here. These other Cuban guys. I was in Cuba last year, and I had to jam with these people. I couldn't even speak Spanish. They were all speaking Spanish. They had to find someone that was interpreting for me. And I tell you what, it felt so good. It felt so good because, and I was not even playing. We were playing Nigerian music. We were
Oh,
playing Fela Kuti music. We were playing some high life tunes. We were playing some jazz standard in African style, in Cuban style. It felt so good. So I mean
and
that thing as an African or that we have, my I've always been an advocate for that. Be
yeah, I know.
natural as much as you can. It's so good. It's so good.
Wow.
Mm.
You really, really got so totally developed in everything. I remember nothing used to offend you then. Even if no matter how they offend you, you just laugh in a way. And they say the bass was your wife. You
I know,
love that
I know,
instrument with a passion.
I know, I do, I
So
still do, I still do, I still
yeah.
do.
So question that I have for you
Okay,
go is actually 1 hour. Something is the I don't know if it is a reality you're facing because you're in United States. That has to do with it's a sensitive file, but I'll try and present it in a way that it's.
okay, go ahead.
I've noticed that most of the African Americans are always hostile to Africans. They want to create a distinction. Like,
Between yes,
Oh, you Africans. Now comes to things like Black Lives Matter. Do they give you that kind of energy when your music?
well, I, this is what I would say. There are two people in the world. There are good people and there are bad people. I basically wouldn't judge people, um, generalize people based on their race or their ethnicity. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't do that. But I can tell you, I've met people of different races, white, black, Indian, Mexican, amazing people, nice, loving people. And I've met people who are just, I mean, they are just, you know, crazy people, stupid people. Like, it doesn't even matter their ethnicity now. So, as regard to that, I mean, I've met some African Americans that are, I mean, I still have them amazing people. Like, they are so I mean, they are, I just think that human beings will be human beings regardless of who you are. Our hearts, if you have,
I like that.
you attract someone who is similar to your heart, who thinks similarly. You know what I'm saying? I've met some people also that they are kind of hostile,
Yeah.
and especially when they feel threatened. Is what I'm saying. When they feel threatened, they're kind of hostile to you, but they're like, mm, and they kind of be like, well, they kind of be like, talk some little, maybe try to talk you down, uh, so that they feel a bit higher. And that's nothing. I'm talking about African American now. They want to be like, for instance, let me see. For instance, now they be like, okay, this is American music, and this is how we play. You know, and I'll be like, well, I can hear it too, and it's the same thing. And That when you feel that kind of vibe, then you know there's those are the people you don't want to be
Mhm.
around. You see what I'm saying? You know that these are the you don't want to be around this kind of people because the thing is, some people like that. I've had to teach some people that are not Nigerian music, and I won't tell them kind of like, oh well, this is Nigerian music and how we play it. I would rather show you, okay, easy. This is how it goes easily, and I think you will eventually get. Are you still there? I think you have a network problem now. Okay, you're back.
Okay, I'm
I know
back.
it's I know it's network. It's
Oh
okay. It's all right.
man,
It's okay.
Ninja.
I know. It's all right. I know. It's all
So
right.
it's good having you. We are going to catch after this. We need to catch up and
Right.
talk. It's been long. It's good to
Right.
see your
It's good to see you.
face
It's been a long
once more.
time.
So thank you. I love the way you answered it with, yeah,
You're welcome.
very
It's my
long
pleasure. It's my pleasure. It's my
time.
pleasure.
Very, very long.
It is. It's been a
Very
long
long
time.
time.
It's been a
Very,
long
very.
time.
Okay. So if you're just joining, you can always watch the replay. We need to catch up after this.
Okay. All right.
We need
Okay.
to
I'll be here. I think I'll be a couple of times.
we need to catch up after
All right.
this.
Okay.
So if you're just joining, you can ah. So thank you for joining on Timothy, and I'm going to share your as much as I can so that the whole world can hear you and share in your
There's a great.
gift. I'm going to also be inviting from time to time other members. I hope to all five advisement get of my stream.
That would be good. That would be great.
I
You
don't know
should put
if that's
everybody
it,
together. Yeah.
let's just forget
That
it.
would be
So
great.
we'll see and talk.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, we'll talk privately if that's okay
Okay.
with
All
you.
right.
What's the time now? We'll talk.
It's
We'll chat.
okay. All right. I'll be here. Oh my God.